Hello. There's a question that I hear people ask sometimes, which is reality conscious? So before I answer that, let's talk a small bit about the conscious experience, and then I'll address reality itself towards the end of this video. So, amongst humans, there's a bunch of different types of consciousness. But the way that each one operates might have a radically different appearance. For example, I used to have to deal with a lot of meat at one of my old workplaces. I'm a lifelong vegetarian, and to me, handling meat is always a disgusting activity that I'd kind of rather not do. But I remember one day talking to one of my coworkers, and they're like, "Oh my god, dude, there's this piece of meat that was so juicy. Now I'm hungry. I want to go home and cook one of these." This was interesting to me because I had been working here all along and never once had any of the pieces of meat inspired me to hunger. In fact, oftentimes the exact opposite. But when he said that, I considered for the first time that for most other people, this was a job where you could actually get hungry quite easily, and they actually might enjoy handling those pieces of meat. Now, both me and my coworkers have consciousness, but how we experienced the same event was radically different. There's not much overlap between finding something disgusting and wanting to eat it, kinks aside. And I bring this up to underline the principle that two different beings might be conscious but manifest in radically different ways. The consciousness of one being doesn't have to look similar to that of another in order for both of them to be conscious. And that's just a way that humans are randomly different, but it goes even further. Different people of the same culture have systematic differences in the ways they see and interact with the world. There's a lot of people who study these differences, and a whole field has popped up around it with different theories to describe all the systematic differences between people. Some of these subfields include the Myers-Briggs Typological Indicator, also called MBTI. There's socionics, Enneagram, there's different love languages, amongst other systems. I don't think I'd be able to list all of them. So, to briefly describe some of the field's insights, some people can't stop thinking about the emotional states of others, the vibe of the group they're in, how what they say might affect others' emotional states. Some people don't think about this at all. Other people might find it hard to just be in the moment. They're always pondering about the meanings behind things, how things develop, and where the world is headed, and how to fulfill their role in this grand historical narrative. Other people might not be thinking about this even slightly. They're just trying to have fun right now and live a comfortable life that they can be happy with right now. And this is just a small tidbit about how one person's thoughts and experiences about the world might be almost completely unrecognizable to the next person, as if they were living in parallel realities. One person thinks about symbols and never about comfort, and the next person thinks about comfort but never about symbols. And this is not even bringing up animals and what they experience, which might be even harder to grasp for the typical human being. Not only are people's thoughts different, but how they exist and act in the world might be entirely different from one another, and animals might be even more different. So, we can recognize different beings as being conscious, and yet looking and acting completely different. The more different something is from what you experience, the harder it is to grasp. You can extend this concept to even things like plants or atoms. There's no reason to say that they don't have consciousness just because they behave differently than we do. Different human beings behave differently than you do, and animals too, yet they're still conscious, so you can apply this principle to plants and even atoms. So, if people ask if reality has consciousness, then you have to clarify what's even meant by consciousness. Does reality think in the same way they do? The same way an animal does? The same way an atom does? The idea that some things are conscious while others are not is more a descriptor of social norms than it is a descriptor of reality itself. The idea that an atom doesn't have consciousness is more of an assumption about the atom than a description of it. So, reality. Is it conscious? Well, you're conscious, and you're an aspect of reality. So yeah, One of reality's qualities is the conscious experience. And besides you, there's all the other beings that we can confirm as having consciousness, humans and animals alike. Asking if reality has consciousness is almost like asking if your body has fingers. Your hand has fingers, and your hand is a part of your body, therefore your body has fingers. So like, duh. Consciousness is a fundamental quality of reality. Out of this base substance, which is reality, all other beings gain their consciousness. At every moment, their conscious experience springs out of reality. So, I hope this video gives you something to think about. If so, I'd encourage you to check out my other videos and subscribe. Peace.